destroying it.
Sir, but just one thing. Don't tell my parents.
The 1990s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Yes, Jimmy, take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
I don't have a circle.
Just as I thought. Put this in your wallet right now.
This C thing?
It's a condom, Jimmy, and you better make plans right now to use it.
Yes, sir. I won't destroy your faith in me.
Good, Jimmy, but just one thing. Don't tell your parents.
This message has been brought to you by Bungee Condoms, celebrating 40 years of progress, from being hidden in your dad's wallet to being handed out in your schools. Bungee Condoms, where quality is more than just a word. It's a slogan.
To Albany on the Rush Limbaugh program. This is Peter. Hello, sir.
Hello, Rush.
Hi.
And we drove 3 hours to your show last November. Enjoyed every minute.
Thank you very much.
Wanted to talk with you for a second about the BTU tax of Clinton.
Yeah.
The more I haven't studied the tax in all its gory detail, but it seems to me this is sort of a miniature VAT tax, the value-added tax, whereby it's sort of a hidden tax. Everybody pays. It's on an elastic item.
Yeah, you're right. It's a tax where every level of activity is taxed. However, the tax is only levied one time. Do you know where that would be?
At the utility bill.
No, that's right.
Sorry.
That's right.
That's the final purchase.
That's the consumer is going to.
The consumer is
going to see it. The consumer is going to pay it. It'll be assessed all along the way, but the payment will be made by the consumer and then disbursed accordingly.
And it's a cash cow for these people who believe in the efficacy of government, that it's just going to give them a load of money, and in the final analysis, 4 years from now, the deficit's not going to be any lower. And yet they're getting to get this brand new revenue out of our pockets. And I just think that any deal that's made short of nuking this tax entirely, Clinton can declare victory, because he can tinker with it every year and raise the tax a few notches and get a little more money. And I think there's real trouble with this.
There is. You're right, and there is a compromise. I think Boren is saying now that he can compromise on this. And these other guys and I cringed when I saw that because Moynihan told us the truth. Moynihan said they've got a signature from Boren, an agreement to go along with this thing. When it gets to the floor, when the real vote counts, that Boren has said he'll be on board with this thing, while at the time he's allowed to posture in such a way as to make him look a little bit more attentive to the needs of his own home state citizens and so forth. But I don't know. The thing that gets me is, why should these guys stop? Why should they stop? They keep getting reelected despite all this. This is nothing new. Them raising taxes for their own empowerment to spend more and more money, and they keep getting reelected. So why should they stop? Why? They can sit here and listen to this show. They can hear you. They can hear everybody in the world express anger and disgust. They can look at the polls, which see in terms of stature they're at the bottom of every list. It doesn't matter to them.
Well, I tell you, one of the problems, I think, is all the benefits of the incumbency. It is so hard to challenge an incumbent. And I think the campaign finance laws, whether it's an irony or not, it seems to me by restricting contributions helps the incumbent. If you removed all ceilings on contributions, you could have a challenger tap a few very wealthy people and actually put up a fight to incumbents. But incumbents have all the free mail. They've rigged the system in their favor. And
precisely, and that's why this campaign finance reform as proposed by Clinton is nothing more than an offering to them to get their votes for things that he wants. It's a quid pro quo. It's not real reform. Term limits this is why you're articulating the cause for term limits, or the case for it. That's why so many people are coming down on the side of it. Yeah.
Well, I was wondering if I could add something about the Walter Williams column and the slavery issue.
Yes.
I'm not an expert on the Civil War, and I don't think you are either. I mean, there's so much there that there's very few experts per se. But one thing, it just seems to me, I never thought really that the Confederacy, those soldiers who went to their death, were really fighting for 10% of the South citizens who owned slaves, any more than youngsters going to Vietnam 25 years ago were fighting for multinational corporate interests in Vietnam. I mean, slavery was an issue, certainly, but were those soldiers really just going to their death, sacrificing their lives for slavery? Or was there something more to it than that?
Well, there were a lot of factors in the fighting of the Civil War, but one of the things that the addition of slavery, or the inclusion of slavery in the argument, is, you just said it, it can't be left out. There are those who would love to tell you that slavery had nothing to do with it, and I just that's what I reject. I don't make the case the Civil War was solely about slavery.
Well, right, but I mean, I know, for example, Robert E. Lee was not a slave owner. He inherited slaves through a marriage, and they were freed under the terms of the will or estate, whatever. He was not a slave owner. He abhorred it. I think General Grant was a slave owner until the Emancipation Proclamation. I mean, certainly Lee was not fighting for slavery. He hated the practice.
No, but they may not have, but the North might have been fighting in many ways to stop it. You cannot look at what Lincoln wrote, and you cannot look at what some of the people in the North felt about it. There are two sides in a war. The South may have been fighting for whatever they want to think was, their right to exist as a separate union, or I'm having a mental block with the word I want to use, but
their culture.
No. It's a
states' right?
No, yes. The separation, I'm thinking of, it's not separation, but I'm having a mental...
Federalism.
No, it's not that. You know what I mean. But the point is that if you look at the North, Lincoln was trying to preserve the Union. The South wasn't. The argument is why. And Lincoln felt that you couldn't preserve the Union if one half of the Union, or a state, could choose in and of itself that one man would be allowed to own another. Now, that may not have been the sole reason anybody was involved, but it clearly was a factor in Lincoln's thinking to preserve the Union. He said, hey, if I could have preserved the Union with slavery, I would have, but I can't. It's not possible for the Union to exist when that situation exists.
But I mean, you've heard the demographic. Oh, we just went to Vietnam for GM rubber. And I think sometimes, and I'm not saying you necessarily, but I think sometimes people just do this quick glossing over and say, oh, well, the South was defending slavery, or we fought over. And I just...
Some of the South was. I mean, slavery was part of their right to do what they wanted to do without the North telling them they couldn't. I don't know. Hey, I want to take a break here, Peter. We'll be back in just a second with
You're
some
listening
time.
to the EIB Network. I've just discovered something amazing, the newest and most advanced razor ever made from Panasonic. They call it the Smooth Operator 2 wet-dry razor with float control. It has two independent floating heads that hug the contour of your face. And best of all, you can use this Smooth Operator 2 dry like a conventional electric, or in the shower with water and lather, so you get a blade close shave without irritation. This is the fastest, closest, most comfortable shave in Panasonic history. It's the new Panasonic Smooth Operator 2 with float control, and you've got to try it to believe it.
Dear Hooked on Phonics, for 27 embarrassing
years, I had a secret. I could barely read. I tried many reading programs. Nothing worked. Then I got hooked on phonics. In 2 months, I went from a 3rd to a 10th grade reading level. Since Hooked on Phonics, I finished trade school and have my own business. If you have a problem with reading, try Hooked on Phonics. It changed my life. It could change yours. Signed, Eric, Zanesville, Ohio.
Call 1-800-ABCDEFG.
Ever wished you could find a car dealer who would give you fair prices and courteous service? Ever heard of Courtesy Buick GMC Truck Mercedes in Goldsboro? Ever been there? You need to go there, to Courtesy Buick GMC Mercedes, because that's what you'll get and more. At Courtesy Buick in Goldsboro, you'll find a large selection of new Buick cars, a large selection of new GMC trucks and vans, and a large selection of Mercedes-Benz cars. Say you're not looking for a new car, At Courtesy, you'll also find the area's largest selection of program cars. You know the ones. They're used cars sold to the dealer by the manufacturer, and most still have some factory warranty left. Prices on these cars start as low as $64.50, and that includes automatic transmission and air conditioning. Say you're not looking for a car at all? Well, at Courtesy Buick GMC Truck Mercedes can still help. They rate their customer service department second to none. With their factory-trained technicians, they can offer routine maintenance and major repairs at substantial savings. So if you're looking for a car or truck, or just need your present car serviced, go by Courtesy Buick GMC Mercedes today and visit with some of the nicest folks you'll ever meet.
Where can you get all the pizza, pasta, salad, and dessert that you care to eat for one low price? The Village Inn Pizza Parlor on Berkeley Boulevard, Goldsboro. The Village Inn announces its Monday and Tuesday night manager special. Monday and Tuesday nights only. The all-you-can-eat buffet. It's only $3.39. Every Monday and Tuesday night from 4:30 to 8 o'clock, the buffet is bargain priced at only $3.39. And it's only at one place. The Village Inn Pizza Parlor, 503 North Berkeley Boulevard, Goldsboro, where pizza is always in good taste.
When it comes to quality pork products, there's only one pork king, Nahana Pork Center. And when it comes to value, well, this week a family pack of smoked sausage, 99 cents a pound. Smoked slab bacon, 99 cents a pound. Cured slab side, $1.19 a pound. Fresh lean bulk sausage, 4-pound pack, $5, limit 4. And barbecue, buy 2 pounds, get 2 free. You don't have to root around for quality and savings. Shop the Pork King, Nahana Pork Center, Highway 581, 1 mile west of Nahana School.
This is Rush Limbaugh on the Talk of the Town, 1150 WGBR. Back to Albany and Peter. Peter, what's your analogy to Vietnam War? I don't get it.
Well, my analogy is that you had 10% of the Confederacy were slave owners,
right?
And they had their certain power. Obviously, they were probably the wealthier people. And I don't believe that the Confederate soldier, the common, regular Confederate soldier who went to their death in Chancellorsville and Gettysburg and all the rest, were fighting so that 10% of the population can continue to own slaves. Any more than the Vietnam soldier, the 20-year-old who was sent over there, working class person, whatever, fought for GM Rubber, multinational interest in Vietnam, which is arguments I hear on both wars. I was just making an analogy. I thought.
Well, I would only say this to you. The slavery business. If slavery had nothing to do with it, then why do we still have it? If slavery has nothing to do with it, if it's only 10% of it, then why, after the war was over, did the South or did the states continue not to have slavery? Those who wanted it.
No. Again, slavery was a part of it.
You're just with the motivation of the soldiers.
Well, I'm getting into that. I mean, in other words, I think it's very often in school growing up and everything, people just convince you that this war was over slavery almost exclusively, and
well, I don't know if they've succeeded in doing that. I run into a lot of people who don't think slavery had anything to do with it.
McCall's Barbecue invites you to visit our new store in Mount Olive on Highway 55 West. Our new hours are 11 to 9 a.m. Monday through Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 p.m. We feature the famous McCall's Luncheon Buffet with 5 meats, 9 vegetable salad, and dessert for $4.99, along with nightly buffet Sure to Please. And our Sunday buffet is $5.99 with 6 meats and 9 vegetables plus 4 desserts. Just one taste is all it takes at McCall's in Mount Olive on Highway 55 West. Come see us when you're in the neighborhood. McCall's, Highway 55 West, Mount Olive.
Ooh-wee! Serial port parallel interface modem fax RS-232-AB switcher mouse. Why, this is confusing.
Well, stop by AIM Electronics. See the new line of computer accessories. QVS and AIM Electronics can make your computer connection simple. AIM Electronics has a new and expanded inventory of computer accessories. QVS with a complete line of computer accessories at competitive prices at AIM Electronics that you won't believe. QVS and AIM Electronics, making the right connections for you. AIM Electronics, 411 East Ash Street, Goldsboro.
WGBR, Goldsboro's very own.
From ABC News, I'm Gary Nunn. President Clinton in Milwaukee is pitching his budget, speaking to the Metropolitan Milwaukee Association of Commerce and the Public Policy Forum.
This is a historic moment. Now that the House has passed this budget plan to reduce the deficit and to target investments in our future, and it's going to the Senate for further debate, we can make a decision to seize control of our economic destiny.
In his speech, the president referred to three deficits hampering the U.S., a deficit of public dollars, a deficit of investment in public and private sectors, and a deficit of responsibility in national government. After a walking tour of one section of the city's south side today, the president returns to Washington. Personal income in April was lackluster, restrained by a decline in farm subsidy payments. Spending surged. The savings rate, that is, the percentage of income tucked away, fell drastically, which means Americans dipped into their savings to buy things because income failed to make up the difference. The manufacturing economy grew in May, footnote to a decline in April. Bob Bretz of the National Association of Purchasing Management says that even though the economy grew, bosses are holding back.
Employers are reluctant for a number of reasons to hire more employees, more full-time employees right now, and would much rather be cautious about it and just work existing employees longer hours, or to perhaps add temporary workers.
Brett says there's still a long way to go before the economy can be labeled robust. A 12-truck convoy carrying food and medical supplies to the northern Bosnian town of Moglaj was hit a few hours ago by artillery fire. It happened while the trucks were waiting inside a tunnel to move to unload supplies. 3 people killed in the attack. Silvana Foa of the UN High Commissioner for Refugees in Geneva labels the situation awful.
We're going to have to decide, do we try to go through battle lines to bring food to places, or do we try and just rely on airdrops, which are not as good as that? I mean, airdrops can keep people from starving to death, but they don't give them the basics of life, like medicine. You can't really airdrop medicine.
You're listening to ABC News.
You are my sunshine.
Only one bad sunburn could last a lifetime.
You make me happy when skies are gray.
Even an overcast sky isn't safe.
You'll never know, dear, how much I love you.
Take care of your family with Vaseline Intensive Care SPF 15. It provides 8 hours of waterproof protection.
Please don't take my sunshine away.
There's no better protection than Vaseline Intensive Care Sun Care.
So you're shopping for a new car, and you're looking for something fun. Yet you're thinking stick with the basics. Plenty of room, anti-lock brakes, because you don't have a lot of money to throw around. Hey, it doesn't mean you can't have the time of your life. The new Pontiac Grand Am. Power, great handling, great looking. It puts the fun back into a good value.
The flight recorder of a Colombian 727 that hit a mountainside last month, killing 132 people, indicates the flight crew was lost in a storm. The plane was on a domestic flight in northwestern Colombia. The Uffizi Gallery in Italy, damaged by a car bomb last week, is scheduled to reopen June 18th. 5 people killed in the explosion in Florence. On this, the first day of the hurricane season, forecasters predict the first tropical storm is now on the verge of fizzling after dumping up to 10 inches of rain on parts of Florida, the Bahamas, and Cuba. Jerry Jarrell of the National Hurricane Center advises anyone in the path of a hurricane to reinforce windows and doors. Putting tape on windows is not a good idea, he says.
Well-made storm shutters do a great job, and they may save your roof, because when your windows go, that puts tremendous pressure inside on the roof.
Jarrell urges people in the projected path of a hurricane not to leave home unless told to do so.
If you're close to the water, where a storm surge would come up and get you, then you ought to evacuate, and you'll be told to evacuate. If you live in a mobile home, they're definitely not hurricane-proof, and people should not stay in mobile homes.
Home, says Jarrell, is the best place to be in a hurricane. On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial is now up 25.42 at 3552.85. The volume, 140,520,000 shares. The trading is active. This is ABC News.
Mom, if you had time off, we could be Martians. We could play house, Dad. We could take a vacation on a cloud.
If you had a Mita plain paper fax machine, you'd have more time to do everything. Because it can send laser quality faxes in as little as 6 seconds. Mita gives you time to do what's really important.
Dad, I crown you King Martian.
The times demand Mita. Call 1-800-ABC-MITA.
For the ABC Information Network, I'm Yari Nunn.
If it's important to Wayne County, it's important to you. And for over 30 years, WGBR's Bill Justice has kept you informed on the news of Wayne County. Hi, it's Larry King. Join Bill each weekday morning for the latest local news, and then weekday afternoons, join me for the Larry King Show. For over 15 years, we've talked about the important issues and covered the hottest topics, and you're invited to join us. We keep Wayne County informed and talking on Goldsboro's very own 1150 WGBR.
We are expecting to see a lot of sunshine today, although for some of you it'll be a little bit of a wait. This morning, some cloud cover and also scattered showers and thunderstorms. They'll be ending by around midday. The afternoon, partly cloudy, and it'll be fairly warm. Highs generally in the upper 70s to around 80, but the humidity dropping this afternoon from where it's been this morning. Clear tonight, lows in the mid-50s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, highs 75 to 80. I'm Bill Schmidt at the Weather Center.
You're listening to The Rush Limbaugh Show on 1150 WGBR.
Expressed by the host on this show make more sense than anything you can hear anybody else say. It's up to you to believe it. Here you must have the courage to not only face the truth, you must have the courage to believe the truth, because that's what this show is all about.
This is a special edition of the Rush Limbaugh program, America Held Hostage. And now, from our studios in New York City, here is Rush Limbaugh.
Thank you, Johnny Donovan. Day 133 of the Raw Deal, the Clinton presidency. And we're all still held in its clutches. Phone number here, if you want to be on the program, is 1-800-282-2882. Yeah, I'm just looking here at this headline, the William Sapphire column, which ran Monday in the New York Times. It's a return of the old Clinton. It's about the appointment of Gergen. And I'm sorry, what does he mean by the old Clinton? Meaning the Clinton of the campaign? I guess one of the reasons I'm so stunned, I don't know how anybody could have fallen for this new Democrat jazz. That's where I guess I separate myself from everybody else in politics who believed it. Why in the what evidence was there to believe it? There was the evidence was to the contrary, and now all these people are shocked and stunned and surprised. And I don't understand why. This has been so crystal clear. And one other thing, we got a call from a guy in Albany, Paul in Albany, who worried about a compromise on the BTU tax and said there's no... Let me tell you something, folks. You got to understand something right now. There is no tax increase out there that's any good. We don't need another tax increase. And I don't care if they want to call me an absolute idiot, somebody so removed from reality he doesn't know what he's talking about. We are giving our government $1.5 trillion a year, or $1.3 trillion every year to spend. It's enough. Don't tell me that all of this stuff is absolutely necessary and that there's no fat or waste that can be trimmed here. And I resent the implication that because these guys are short money, that it's our fault. The 80s and the prosperity therein that we didn't deserve. So don't go along with any tax. It's just not necessary. It's not the solution to the problem, especially. I don't care who offers it. If Perot offers it, if anybody offers a tax increase, you've got to be suspicious. It's time to make the hard choices, and the hard choices are making government spend less. The hard choices now are, it's up to those people in Washington. Now, those hard choices obviously are going to affect voters. Somebody is going to be given less money depending on what cuts are made. But it's about time that the producers have the government get off their backs, off of our backs. It's about time that those who don't need to be supported by government stop being supported. This is axiomatic. I feel like I'm talking, civics 101. I'm amazed at how you say this stuff and people say, yeah, keep saying it. Moving on. Environmental news. I ran across the most amazing story in the Sunday New York Times. It just proves everything that I've been saying. Everything in the world about the militant environmentalist movement. What have I said? What have I written? I have written that the militant environmentalists consider humanity an enemy of nature, not a part of nature. We are not entitled, according to militant environmentalists, to be considered part of nature, that all we do is plunder, that all we do is destroy. And you people have heard me say this and you've disagreed with me. And you said, I'm too extremist, I'm too fanatical about this. Come on, Rush, be open about this. We're destroying our planet. We're making a mess, we've got to clean it up. You sound like you're not upset about that at all. Wrong. So here, it's a cover story by Edward O. Wilson, a professor of science at Harvard. And the cover story is titled, Is Humanity Suicidal? I'm not going to read this whole thing to you. I don't have to. I'm going to read to you only portions, excerpts. Now, the premise for this whole thing is laughable. The premise for this is, or maybe I should say the beginning, is that there is a civilization far more intelligent than are we. And it lives on an icy moon of Jupiter. We never see it because of where it is in the orbit. But this civilization is waiting for us to destroy Earth. This civilization is very pure and very intelligent and very wise, and they never interfere with the natural order of things in a planet they wish to conquer. But when the world they wish to conquer, but when the inhabitants of that world destroy their own world, then these super smart beings move in and take over. That's the... Here, let me read it in the author's words. Imagine that on an icy moon of Jupiter, the space station of an alien civilization is concealed. For millions of years, its scientists have closely watched Earth. Because their law prevents settlement on a living planet, they've tracked the surface by means of satellites equipped with sophisticated sensors, mapping the spread of large assemblages of organisms from forests, grasslands, and tundras to coral reefs and the vast planktonic meadows of the sea. They've recorded millennial cycles in the climate interrupted by the advance and retreat of glaciers and scattershot volcanic eruptions. The watchers have been waiting for what might be called the moment, in caps. When it comes, occupying only a few centuries and thus a mere tick in geological time, the forests shrink back to less than half their original cover. Atmospheric carbon dioxide rises to the highest level in 100,000 years. The ozone layer of the stratosphere thins, holes open at the poles. Plumes of nitrous oxide and other toxins rise from fires in South America and Africa, settle in the upper troposphere, and drift eastward across the oceans. They see all this brilliant civilization from their space station concealed on a planet in Jupiter, and wait for their moment to pounce. So that's how this thing begins. A professor at Harvard. Note how these other beings, they're smart, they're brilliant, they can live for hundreds of thousands of years studying us. And when the time comes, they have the ability to move in and conquer Earth. But they're good people, they're wise people, they're better people. They're the true forefathers of Bill Clinton and Robert B. Reich. They're all up there on Jupiter waiting to take over because they're good people. They've got the brains and the smarts to chronicle all the failures in the universe. And they happen to be on a moon in Jupiter watching us. This is a guy teaches, and this is, I know it's entertaining writing, but The whole underlying theme is that we, humanity, is a bunch of boobs. And if you think I'm making this stuff up, just wait till you hear these excerpts. It was all but inevitable, the watchers might tell us if we met them, that from the great diversity of large animals, one species or another would eventually gain intelligent control of the earth. That role has fallen to Homo sapiens, a primate risen in Africa from a lineage that split away from the chimpanzee line 5 to 8 million years ago. Unlike any creature that lived before, we've become a geophysical force, swiftly changing the atmosphere and climate, as well as the composition of the world's fauna and flora. Darwin's dice have rolled badly for Earth. It was a misfortune for the living world in particular that a carnivorous primate such as Homo sapiens, and not some more benign form of animal, made the breakthrough of intelligence necessary to control the Earth. Our species retains hereditary traits that add greatly to our destructive impact. Do you understand what I just read to you? Do you understand? This guy's saying that it's the worst luck the Earth has ever had, that we humans, of all animals that lived, or have lived, are the ones to... Wouldn't it be better if those stupid, idiotic dinosaurs had been given the intelligence? They ate nothing but plants. They were good people, those dinosaurs. The Earth would still be in its marvelous, pristine state, but no, we've come along. He goes on here to say that the worst thing about us is that we eat meat, that we are destroying the efficient use of the sun's energy. This thing is amazing. I'm going to move on here to another segment. Here we go. In the relentless search for more food, we have reduced animal life in lakes, rivers, and now increasingly the open ocean. And everywhere we pollute the air and water, lower water tables, and extinguish species. The human species is, in a word, an environmental abnormality. It is possible that intelligence in the wrong kind of species was foreordained to be a fatal combination for the biosphere. Perhaps a law of evolution is that intelligence usually extinguishes itself. This is what they're teaching your kids at Harvard. Let me read this and analyze it for those of you who may not grasp the full impact. The human species is, in a word, an environmental abnormality. Even though we evolved, according to this guy's theory, we evolved. Don't get into arguments with him right now. I'm just taking this guy's premise. We evolved. We came from chimps. Everything in nature is good except us. How can this be? Where do these guys get off intellectually making this statement? Well, the only way they can make it is to go further. It's possible that intelligence in the wrong kind of species, we're an accident, was foreordained to be a fatal combination for the biosphere. Oh, maybe God did this on purpose, or whoever. Maybe it was foreordained. There has to be a God for there to be foreordained, doesn't there? Of course, you won't find God in this story anywhere, other than Mother Earth being God. You'll find that later if I'll read it to you. We even have a name for Mother Earth as God, Gaia, or Gaia, G-A-I-A. Oh, I'm not, yes, the New Age God. So if we are foreordained to destroy the planet with our intelligence, and somebody foreordained it, and humanity is the end of the world. This guy is serious about this. You want to hear more? At the heart of the environmentalist worldview is the conviction that human physical and spiritual health depends on sustaining the planet in a relatively unaltered state. Earth is our home in the full genetic sense, where humanity and its ancestors existed for all the millions of years of their evolution. Natural ecosystems, forests, coral reefs, marine blue waters, maintain the world exactly as we would wish it to be maintained. When we debase the world environment and extinguish the variety of life, we are dismantling a support system that is too complex to understand, let alone replace, in the foreseeable future. Space scientists theorize the existence of a virtually unlimited array of other planetary environments, almost all of which are uncongenial to human life. Our own Mother Earth, lately called Gaia, or Gaia, however you pronounce it, is a specialized conglomerate of organisms and the physical environment they create on a day-to-day basis, which can be destabilized and turned lethal by careless activity. We run the risk, conclude the environmentalists, of beaching ourselves upon alien shores like a great confused pod of pilot whales. If you've ever doubted me that the militant environmentalist movement thinks that humanity is evil, unnatural, and only a destructive force, you can no longer, with intellectual credence, credibility, do so, because it's right here. And there is far more in this, and it's so bad that even if we had the ability to fix everything that we've screwed up, it's too late. A large part of humanity will suffer no matter what is done. The analogy used here is that we are trying to unscramble a scrambled egg with a spoon. That's what fixing our planet would be like. But my favorite part, isn't it a damn shame that human beings evolved with the intelligence necessary to control the earth? Now, I'll tell you something else, folks. When you read this stuff, you understand why there's such a large area of disagreement between people of theology and people of science. No allowance whatsoever here made for anything of God-like status other than some New Age god of the earth. And the notion that you find out why science offends so many people. I mean, this is it. To take the probably God's most perfect creation, a human being, and to label it this, an accident, and to suggest that, oh my gosh, isn't it unfortunate, the wrong animal got the brains, and that this is the midst of a long, protracted suicide. It's just amazing. And the reason why I continue to drill this home to you is that this stuff, despite the absence of it in my reading, has a political agenda attached to it. These are the people that liberals love to support, love to fund, and love to proclaim as brilliant and intelligent. And they are the people controlling the institutions of higher learning in America today, which decide what kind of science and all that students should be taught. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more. Your calls continue right after this.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
There are a lot of conservatives out there, a lot of conservatives like me on radio, a lot of conservatives on TV, and a lot of conservatives who write what they think. So, what's the definitive source of conservative thought? Other than me? Why, my friends, it's the Conservative Chronicle. This is a weekly publication. You get 52 issues a year. It's only $39. You know what it is? It's the epitome of the heart of conservatism. All the nationally syndicated conservative columnists in this country and their work reprinted in this publication every week. There's no single source, no better source you can refer to. If you keep every issue, you are building a database that's accessible by a very detailed table of contents of some of the finest, profound conservatism ever assembled. The Conservative Chronicle, $39 a year. Here's the number to call, 800-888-3039. That's 1-800-888-3039. Call them now.
Dear Hookdonics, for 27
embarrassing years, I had a secret. I could barely read. I tried many reading programs. Nothing worked. Then I got hooked on phonics. In 2 months, I went from a 3rd to a 10th grade reading level. Since Hooked on Phonics, I finished trade school and have my own business. If you have a problem with reading, try Hooked on Phonics. It changed my life. It could change yours. Signed, Eric, Zanesville, Ohio.
Call 1-800-ABCDEFG.
Here's news on where to get the best price on furniture for office, church, or meeting place. State Office Equipment Company on East Ash Street in Goldsboro. Tables or chairs for church, club, or meeting place, you get the best price at State Office Equipment Company. Desk, file cabinets, bookcases, wastebaskets, whatever you need for your office, you'll get the best price at State Office Equipment Company. And if you don't have time to visit the store, call 731-3000 and a representative will come to you. That's 731-3000. Now, we haven't mentioned styles and functional ability of your office furniture. At State Office Equipment Company, it's good looks and quality. Look, your office furniture tells a lot about your business. So why not call 731-3000 right now for your best price, or visit State Office Equipment Company at 2211 East Ash Street. You'll get your best price at State Office Equipment Company.
The Embers for North Carolina.
Whenever people get together around the Tar Heel State, there's a North Carolina style in the way they celebrate. From Murphy to Manio, 6th Street or a country mile, you find people enjoying the good life. North Carolina style.
North Carolina is one of the prettiest places anywhere. But you know, the beauty only begins with our scenery. The state's real charm comes from our people, our history, our festivals, culture, museums, and a wide variety of fun and exciting activities. I'm Jackie Gore of the Embers. Put some beauty in your travel, North Carolina style.
Put on your best North Carolina smile. Celebrate the good times. North Carolina style.
Sponsored by the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters and 1-800-VISIT-NC.
Hi, this is Rush Limbaugh on your first information source, 1150 WGBR. Kinds of good stuff coming your way. Boy, here we go. The Time magazine's out this week. Newsweek, too. Here's the cover. Time, the incredible shrinking president. And they got Clinton on here. It's about 2 inches high. And you turn to the cover story. The headline is That Sinking Feeling, with a chronicling of the president's approval ratings from Truman to Clinton. And after 4 months in office, Clinton at 36%, lower than anybody's ever been after 4 months, including Gerald Ford. And Harry Truman was set the record at a 92% approval rating. But this is the stuff that gets me. After the headline, That Sinking Feeling, the question, is Clinton up to the job? Why ask this now? Why wasn't this asked back then? During the campaign, I really don't understand the people in the press. Well, because I'm not going to assign this to simple bias. It's too easy to say they loved Clinton and wanted him elected. It's just too easy to say that. Unless it's the case, I heard somebody say, no, that's probably what it is, but they're also going to be the first to go south on him because they're the real idealists. And if he doesn't deliver, they're out of there fast, and that may exactly be what's happening here. But what evidence was there he knew what he was doing in the campaign? All these pie in the sky. I'm going to stop talking about it because I know you people are going to accuse me of being a broken record. But by gosh, I'm going to stop talking about it, but I'm not going to let you people forget it. Next time we have a campaign, I'm going to go back to the archives every day. I'm going to learn this. We're going to start from now. I'll tell you what, folks, this show is going to do. We are going to examine candidates during the campaign, as we should, rather than get screwed and snookered and then be stuck with a mistake for 4 years. We're going to do what we can here to examine them, which we did the last time. But now you will listen more closely. We'll go to Texas. Paul, hello. Welcome to the Rush Limbaugh program.
Hey, Rush. Mega dittos from the beautiful hill country.
Thank you.
In Canyon Lake, Texas.
Canyon Lake?
Yes, sir.
Great.
That's it. Oh, last week you were talking about women in combat and gays in the military. And a lot of the opinions that you're hearing are from people who have never been there. Well, I graduated from West Point, and I'm also a veteran of Desert Storm. And I don't believe that women should be allowed in combat, nor gays in the military.
Well, we do hear from people. We may not have heard from as many as you would like on this show, but I mean, we've seen videotape of people who have served, are serving, and I don't know so much about women, but the homosexual thing is not. It's not a matter of debate. I mean, present even compromise. Hang on here just a second, Paul. We'll continue in a moment.
I've just discovered something amazing, the newest and most advanced razor ever made from Panasonic. They call it the Smooth Operator 2 wet-dry razor with float control. It has 2 independent floating heads that hug the contour of your face. And best of all, you can use this Smooth Operator 2 dry like a conventional electric or in the shower with water and lather, so you get a blade close shave without irritation. This is the fastest, closest, most comfortable shave in Panasonic history. It's the new Panasonic Smooth Operator 2 with float control, and you've got to try it to believe it.
This is WGBR News, Goldsboro's very own.
I'm Wayne Alley reporting WGBR News. A Fayetteville couple and their 18-year-old granddaughter perished in a fire that destroyed their automobile after it went out of control during a rainstorm on Highway 55 near the Wayne-Sampson County line yesterday afternoon. The State Patrol in Goldsboro said the 1991 Lincoln Town car, believed to have been driven by 60-year-old Virginia Reginald Butts, crossed the center line, sideswiped another vehicle, then was struck in the left rear side and quarter panel, and was finally engulfed by flames after the impact. A truck driver told the investigating trooper he did all possible to try to help the victims, but the fire was too hot and nobody could help them. That put the Memorial Day weekend death toll on Wayne highways at 4, and the total for the year to date at 11, compared to only 6 in the same period last year. In an unrelated accident, 14-year-old Eugenia McElroy of Route 1 Princeton died following a single vehicle accident on Stevens Mill Road Sunday. The patrol said she and 14-year-old Penelope Scoggins of Robin Lake Drive, Dudley, were thrown out of a vehicle driven by 17-year-old Melissa Carol Tillman of Mount Olive when it went out of control at an excessive speed and struck the abutment of Stevens Mill Bridge. Ms. Scoggins remains in critical condition in Pitt Memorial Hospital. In other news today, a proposed county ordinance that would reorganize the Wayne County Economic Development Commission and make it a county department calls for appointment of a Goldsboro City Council designee, but makes no mention of appointments to the commission by Fremont, Mount Olive, or other towns in the county. Mount Olive Mayor Lewis Pate had this reaction when questioned.
I don't understand what the rationale is for selecting or having Goldsboro being able to select a member of the Economic Development Commission when the other municipalities apparently do not, and I would like to have some explanation of that, which I intend to do.
And you'll be talking to Commissioners and John Howard?
Yes.
Mount Olive Mayor Lewis Pate. April statistics just in show unemployment declined or remained steady in most counties in the Wayne County area, but not Wayne County. Unemployment in Wayne County increased 0.1% from March to April and stood at 6.2% at the end of April. And that's a look at the latest WGBR News. I'm Wayne Alley reporting.